Finally, a very exciting topic, artificial intelligence and research misconduct. I've taken 3 sources. First one is Kornick, 2023, Generative AI for Economic Research, Uses, Cases, and Implications for Economists. It was published at the Journal of Economic Literature last year. A Journal of Economic Literature is in the top 10 journals, so it's a very respected journal, so it's good to go through to see more of the benefits. Unfortunately, that paper is entirely more about the good things about AI in your research. So, but there are other studies like Rosnick and Hausney, The Ethics of Using Artificial Intelligence in Scientific Research, New Guidance Needed for a New Tool. AI and Ethics journal, forthcoming. I use that, and also a blog information. All right. So AI, particularly large language models, have huge potential to revolutionize research in econ and other disciplines. A good example is our famous ChatGPT. Anyone who tried DeepSeek? How does it compare with ChatGPT?
I have the paid ChatGPT, so it's not as good as the paid, but it's better than the free ChatGPT. So
yes. Okay. So you have the paid ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Is it ChatGPT 4?
Yeah.
How much you pay? $20 a month?
Yeah, $400 a month.
Yeah. 400 South African bucks.
Yeah.
Yes. $20. Yeah.
That's very helpful.
Yeah, but the next level is business. Like, that's about $2,000 a month,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, but that's not for us. So it's very useful, you know, ChatGPT especially, he used it, and it demonstrates the uses in brainstorming. So ideation and feedback is the first use. It gives, you know, brainstorming. You can brainstorm by giving it your idea and what you think about this, you know. Feedback, it provides counter arguments why your arguments might not be true. Writing, it synthesizes text, it edits text, evaluates text, it generates titles and headlines. You can ask ChatGPT by putting in the paragraphs that you wrote and what title describes this paper best. Generating tweets to promote a paper. I tried it because I was tweeting until a couple of months, but ChatGPT is not really trusted for the tweets. I've proved that. I asked it, okay, craft about 4 or 5 tweets out of this paper. And then I read the paper carefully, just the intro as well, sometimes. And then compare it. Sometimes it presents it in a misleading way. So don't trust it. But like I said, these things also continue learning. Background search, summarizing a text. Literature search, what are the different literature sources, but don't trust it again. It's totally fine to ask it, suggest sources, because it reduces your time. But once those sources are there, you have to go through these sources and see what is written in there, the information. Like I said, because it has a tendency to misrepresent. Formatting references, this is also very important because it can easily capture missed reference in your paper by using ChatGPT. And translating text and explaining concepts. It also helps very much in coding, writing, explaining, translating, and debugging a code. So it's very helpful if you're stuck in some programming issues. Data analysis as well, it has significant benefits for data analysis. It creates figures. It extracts data from a text. It reformats the data, classifies and scoring text, extracting sentiment. For example, these days, you know, you can, from tweets, for example, you can transcribe some quantitative data out of it. Was it a negative tweet or a positive tweet? So ChatGPT can help you to score that. What kind of, in this sentence, is it judgmental sentence? This is very useful in behavioral kind of science research. So it can help you to do that sometimes. Sentiments. And simulating human subjects, setting up models, deriving equations. You can ask it a dynamic optimization model and solve it for you. You can see the solutions pretty easily. And explaining models. So you can see that the things that we can do with ChatGPT is enormous. Sometimes it's really great. I think it's really addictive. So threats of AI in research is plagiarism. AI can generate articles, essays, etc., which could be claimed as own. Some students are using this shortcut. This is not good. This is clear, pure plagiarism. Misinformation. AI-generated content may disseminate inaccurate or misleading information. You can immediately generate a figure using my face and my voice. So let's destroy this world. Let's have a nuclear war. But I didn't say that. So you can create that with your own language as well. Sometimes you have seen some of the models. I'm talking in English, but it can translate right away as if I'm speaking into Arabic, something that I don't speak, or Chinese, and communicate that message. But that might be misused. Image duplication and manipulation. AI can create realistic and convincing images that are indistinguishable from the original one. This is also some area where we have to be super careful. Tampering the results. AI algorithms can make it challenging to identify the subtle alteration in the results. So you might be able to deceive and conduct some unethical practice, and it might be difficult. AI tools as a co-author. So there's questions. Some people are asking, some journals, I think it was discussed, that, okay, because I got this information from AI, ChatGPT, this whole paragraph, 2-3 paragraphs. So why don't I claim that the AI as a co-author? I wrote this paper together with the AI. Do you see any problem with that practice? It's good that it's good that you're acknowledging that you didn't write the paper by yourself, all of it, right? You got help from ChatGPT. But there's a limitation to this kind of things. What would be the problem if we do that? Wait, but did everybody understand the question? No? I sensed that. Okay, so I wrote a paper. The introduction part, I asked ChatGPT to write it for me. The data analysis, the research question was mine, everything is mine. So there are two ways. One, I just pretend that I wrote the paper. That's clearly plagiarism. To avoid that, I say that I'm co-authoring it with ChatGPT. Or I can say that ChatGPT wrote this part of the paper. So you're putting ChatGPT as a co-author. This is one way to go about it. So then you can say that this is not entirely my work, but I co-authored it with ChatGPT. It might sound like a good solution, but it has its own problems. What would be the problem? Yes, Jan?
Well, if you're a co-author, you take responsibility for your research.
Exactly.
And AI
cannot take, exactly. That's it. AI cannot take any responsibility. There's no anyone, if you go to court, you're not going to sue ChatGPT. So that's the problem. So because of that, they recommend not to do. If you use as AI, you as a researcher should identify, describe, reduce, and control AI-related biases and random errors. So that means verify all the information that it's giving you. Don't take it as it is. Disclose. Describe and explain the use of AI in research, including its limitation in language that can be understood by non-experts. So you have to acknowledge. In some journals, like JDE, for example, if you submit a paper now, they ask you, have you used ChatGPT? No, not ChatGPT, AI, to write this paper. And they will indicate actually that we're not talking about language checking. Like I use Grammarly. You know Grammarly? Who uses Grammarly? It's great. To typos and things, grammatical errors, that's fine to use. You don't need to disclose that. But if you used AI, you have to disclose it. And engage with impacted communities, populations, and other stakeholders on AI. So these 3 things you have to do. But the most important thing you should forget is like, don't trust it entirely because it's still learning. And I've proven that consistently. And the second important thing is make sure that you disclose for what aspect of the paper you used AI. Okay? And also these co-authors are recommending it where if synthetic data is used, that means you generated it through artificial intelligence. It's not real data, but you used it for your analysis. Indicate which parts of the data are synthetic. And clearly label the synthetic data if you used. And describe how the data was generated. Explain how and why the data were used. You see, now in the age of AI, it's becoming even more important actually to worry about data because it's possible that actually people will do fabrication and falsification. It's very easy to fabricate data using AI. And do not name AI systems as co-authors, inventors, or copyright holders because they disclose and describe their contributions to the research. So they're not co-authors, but you have to describe where exactly you got the input for the data. And education and mentoring and research ethics should also include discussion of ethical use of AI because it's a very recent thing. It's like 2 years old now. So you can see that it changed everything upside down. Now one big problem is, for example, is term paper examinations and things. So if I ask the students to go and prepare a term paper, they can ask chat GPT. So our assessment strategy should also change. Well, do you recommend any assessment strategy? Oral examinations? You should incorporate them in your assessment strategy. Everything should not be like written exams in the classroom without using any electronics and things. These are the things that we should include. But term papers, I like term papers. I think it's very helpful. I followed it actually throughout all my graduate courses, especially in the development course. That's where the student learns actually how to come up with a great idea and also how to research. But now with AI, that would be a bit in a big problem. Oh, end of course. Thank you very much.